911 operator, what's your emergency?
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am Iberbuki here, and we're back. Yippee! So, I am now back with a smaller kind of content. I obviously just did the Tony Storm video for the Storm is Coming DLC, but now I'm gonna look to rank and put into a tier list the KipTeiTei saga, the Kipverse, as some people put it, the Kipverse from Breakfast with Sister all the way to One Serving Choice. And so we'll start at the beginning with the OG, the classic, the certified hood classic, as some people will say, the Breakfast with Sister. The plot of Breakfast with Sister is basically these two sisters, Kip and Kat, who have a very interesting relationship with each other, and they have a very intimate moment that gets them very flustered, and they don't know what to do. You get other characters like Grace, and you find out about the family, and it is bundled with dinner and lunch with sister. And for this tier list, I'm gonna bundle them all as Breakfast with Sister and not just separate entities. In my opinion, lunch and dinner with sister are both Breakfast with Sister. They're just different chapters of Breakfast with Sister. So in my personal opinion, I would count them as one big book. For my rating of Breakfast with Sister, just no spoilers, of course, just based off my opinion though of what I've read in the story, I feel like Breakfast, Lunch, and Dinner with Sister is an absolute vibe. I think it's an absolute vibe. It's a comic that is very, unique because it's one of Kip's earlier works, so the style is still getting there, but it's not just there completely like you would see in the lunch break or even in the future with One Serving Choice. So it's a simple it's a story that's basically learning to get to where we get to now with Kip's work. It's basically, if you want to read it chronologically and see the evolution of Kip's work, you will see that the work obviously gets better, and it starts with Breakfast with Sister. Now on to Waifu Quest. Waifu Quest is kind of a smaller story. It's basically like one of those RPG games, and it's simply just not really for me. I'm not really into the RPG games a lot, and that's really all I took away from this. Waifu Quest will go in okay. It's not a story I would urge you to read if you want to read it in your own spare time. It is very short. You will find some enjoyment out of it. It's just not something I personally am into and got into the story. Now on to the most popular Kip work in the past decade, if you could say that, No Lunch Break. It's basically about this office worker, Sydney, who is very infatuated with chubby bodies ever since she was a young lad, and is learning the ways of being an adult with her relationship with the other kind of love interest, Tina, who has this kind of rock hard shell. She doesn't really show her emotions. She's really bitter and angry at the world for the beginning of the story, but then you kind of see that shell kind of come unglued as she gets her understanding of her feelings towards Sydney, especially after the awkward kiss at the beginning of the story. And it is a classic. It is absolutely an instant classic, as a Captain Charisma would say. Peak cinema. You have to go out and read it. I do not care about anything else in your life. You have to read No Lunch Break. It is peak cinema. It is entertaining. It is very much story driven, and you get a lot of sympathy for the characters, and you just want to see them succeed in their relationship goals. Now on to Full Night Nanny, a very short comic about Connor, the protagonist, who's very upset that his mother decided to buy a nanny to stay and watch her kids. Connor, he's like 13, 14, 15. I forgot the real age, but he's very much, very shocked to see that he still needs a nanny. He feels like he doesn't need a nanny. He can watch his younger sibling and himself perfectly fine. But we end up learning a lot more about Sydney through Connor and Sydney's relationship. And it's a very interesting ending to the story. Not something you would expect from the Kipverse, but it is something new to the Kipverse that we haven't seen since. Full Night Nanny is going in vibing tier. You could read it, and it's a very short story. You can digest it, no pun intended, and you will get a lot out of it for the time and resources you'll get for the story. Now on to No Lunch Takeout, which is basically a sequel or spinoff, depending on where you want to put it, to No Lunch Break, as Tina and Sydney, after the events of No Lunch Break, just go to a Chinese takeout and things happen. Like, it's nothing to really sink your teeth into. It's a very chill comic, but I wouldn't say it's full vibe, and it's still a pretty alright comic. I'll put it in alright.
Guys, I'm losing my voice right now. I have been doing this for like 10 fucking minutes. Crosswalks every fucking where there's a damn crosswalk. Wait 5 minutes to load some more fucking pictures. Oh great, now it's fucking broke. Now it won't give me any more pictures. Is that a crosswalk? Is that a crosswalk? I don't think so. They're all gone. There's none left. Verify. Here we go again. Traffic lights. Boom, boom, boom. Do you count that as a traffic light? I fucking would. Let's do it. No. More traffic lights. This one, this one, this one. And that little fucker hiding back there in the distance. Got your fucking ass. Tell me I'm wrong. Motherfucker. Bite, 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 bite. Next. Oh my god. Fuck you, traffic lights. Next. Traffic lights. Oh, it's a crosswalk. Actually, it's a crosswalk. It fucked me. Oh, I'm gonna get this time. Verify. Motherfucker.
And so No Lunch Beach is basically what it is. It's basically Sydney and Tina once again now having a date at the beach. It's nothing really too interesting besides the fact that Kip made this comic in all color. So if you wanted to see what a Kip comic look in full color, that's something you would benefit from reading this. But again, it's just like No Lunch Takeout, where it's just kind of a simple date where you see more of Tina and Sydney's relationship past No Lunch Break. So I'll have to put it in alright tier. It's kind of the same thing. You could kind of say it's a two-parter in a way, where it's just kind of like you follow Sydney and Tina as they, have these dates. Now onto the most wretched comic you'll ever see on this tier list. One Serving Choice.
I'm a unicorn in my city.
It's basically about a university student named Saya, who's now at a non-university university simply because she's too stupid. She's just like me, for real, for real. And now she's looking to get into a university, but now she has to deal with the occasional Twitch e-girl and Tessa, her manager, Stacy, and the world eater, Aika.
My name is
Aika. Now, obviously, there's a lot that you can do with this comic, but I wouldn't give it the time and day because it's over 400 pages long, which I don't know how Kip even has the mental capacity to finish a comic past 300 pages, but I think Kip needs to never do that again. I think it is hindering this comic story-wise, and just as a fetish comic, it's pretty alright. The fetish scenes are alright, but it's just like the actual story Kip wants to tell is very buried and muddled between, pages of just nothing happening.
Yo, who the fuck is
filler in between. I honestly wouldn't give it the time of day. I just look into it to see what the people say on the stinky BBW boards, because that's funny and it's hilarious to see what they say. One Serving Choice has to go in the absolute.
It's the biggest piece of dog shit.
You're done. You're washed. It's over.
this is the complete tier list. If you guys thought differently, you can put that down in the comments below. If you want to see me more, please subscribe. That would be nice. And if you want to see more videos, there'll be an entire catalog of videos on this channel. So please lock in. This has been Iberbuki signing out.
She on her way to fuck. It's a lot of lust, not a lot of love. Hey, I stack it up, can't get enough.